Welcome to 514 Sports. I'm your host, Paul Decary. Today's a great day. It's June 1st, 2021. The Canadians are off to round 2 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Before I begin, I'd like to give a shout out to my dear friend Adele Piccioli, who retired from Air Canada yesterday. So our Canadians gave Adele a day to remember. She'll never forget her retirement day. We're off to play Winnipeg in round 2 of the playoffs. Wow. Congratulations, Adele. Okay, let's get on with last night's game. Well, Habs Leafs, this was the first playoff series in 42 years, and oh my God, this did not disappoint. All the experts were predicting the Leafs to take care of the Habs in 4, 5, 6 games maybe. Anyway, we took them to 7 games, and we took them out in 7 games. It was fantastic. In 1978 and 79, the last 2 times these teams met, the Habs came out on top both times, but they were both sweeps, so not very dramatic. But last night, this series was settled in the best 2 words in North American sports history, Game 7. This was the 24th time the Montreal Canadiens played a Game 7, and with the 3-1 victory last night, they improved their record to 15 wins and 9 losses in those games, tying the Boston Bruins for the most Game 7 wins in NHL history at 15. What a comeback last night. Down, last night in the series. Down 3-1 in the series, dropping both games in Montreal, games 3 and 4. It wasn't looking good. I wasn't sounding great last week, but today I'm pumped. We're into the second round. This is fantastic. So after that 4th game in Montreal, the Habs never trailed in the series. Game 4, they were trailing, and then Game 5, they took that one in overtime, Game 6 in overtime, and then last night, the 3-1 victory over the Leafs to knock them out there. Carey Price, wow. Carey Price was Carey Price. He was stellar in the entire series, obviously playing in all 7 games, recording a .932 save percentage and a 2.24 goals against average. Jack Campbell did well on the other side for the Leafs. He had actually better numbers than Price, but the scoring chances were just fantastic. Price just played over his head. He looked like the Hart Trophy winning goalie from the 2014-2015 season once again. So in games 5 and 6, the 2 wins in overtime, the Canadiens kids pretty much took charge of those games, with Suzuki and Kakaniemi scoring overtime winners, Caulfield helping out on the Suzuki goal in Game 5. But Game 7, you say experience wins you championships. Well, Dominic Ducharme, he went with experience, and they did not disappoint last night. The veterans came through for the Canadiens last night. Brendan Gallagher finally scored his first goal to get the Habs on the board. Corey Perry scoring on the power play for the second consecutive game, scoring his second goal of the series. And Tyler Toffoli, also his second goal of the series, pretty much iced it into the empty net with about 3 minutes left in the regulation. So Carey Price working on the shutout. Wow, William Nylander had to spoil that for him. Price's bid for the shutout with about a minute and a half left, making it 3-1, making it a little dramatic, but I don't think it was very much in doubt. The Canadiens had that 3-1 lead, and it was a stressful game, but we'll take it. We'll take it anytime we can beat the Leafs in the playoffs. It's just fantastic. It's almost as good as beating the Bruins in the playoffs. Maybe it is better. It's been so long, 42 years. Habs take out the Leafs and all their cocky fans, but hey, congratulations to the Leafs, but you'll just have to wait another season. Did this comeback save the jobs of Dominic Ducharme and Marc Bergevin? Time will tell. We don't know, but in my opinion, I believe Ducharme will have the interim tag removed from his title, and he should be signing a contract, 2 or 3 year contract extension in the offseason. And I'm believing Bergevin has 1 year left on his deal. I would not be surprised if Jeff Molson signs him to an extension as well. So right after the game last night, the Habs flew out to Winnipeg. They were on the plane just after Philip Deneau was eating his pizza after the pregame press conference on Zoom there. So the Habs and the Jets will start the North or Canadian Division Final tomorrow, June 2nd at 7:30. The Habs are once again huge underdogs in this series, with good reason. They beat the Jets 3 out of 9 times this year. So they lost 6, but at least 3 of those 6 losses were in overtime. So obviously the Habs will be underdogs. But it's a similar record with what they had against the Leafs in the season. They played the Leafs 10 times during the regular season, only winning 3 as well. Losing 7, one of them in overtime. So they had an actual better record against the Jets. So maybe we can surprise them again and keep this magical run going. So let's move on to our midweek mindbender. It's not as much a mindbender as it has been in previous weeks there, but I'll be talking about the Leafs. I don't like to normally talk about other teams, except the Canadiens or Montreal teams. But let's look at the Leafs by the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I was good in math up until about grade 10 at least anyway. I love stats. Anyone who knows me knows that I love stats, numbers, player numbers, you name it. So by the numbers, the Leafs. 19,755 days since winning the Stanley Cup, winning their last Stanley Cup in 1967. Over the Canadiens, mind you, but still. 19,755 days. Wow. 6,252 days since actually winning a playoff series. Last time the Leafs won a playoff series was in 2004. Against Ottawa, so that kind of doesn't really count. I'm just joking, though. The Ottawa Senators had a great team back in the early 2000s. So they took out the Sens in 7 in 2004. 465 days since the Toronto Maple Leafs lost to a Zamboni driver named David Ayers for the Carolina Hurricanes. 465 days. 1 day since the Leafs have blown a 3-1 series lead to our beloved Montreal Canadiens. The next number on the list, 0 games ever played by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the month of June. This is unbelievable. Last night was May 31st, so they were still playing in May. The Leafs have not played 1 game in their history in the month of June. They came close last night, and they came close also in 1999 when they lost in the conference finals to the Buffalo Sabres. And that last game as well was on May 31st in 1999. And the last stat I've got for the Leafs here is the longest Stanley Cup drought in NHL history is going to be accomplished in 32 days. So the New York Rangers presently hold that record at 54 years, and the Maple Leafs, since they won't be winning this year, it'll be at least 55 years between Stanley Cup victories, and I'm not looking for them to break that record next year, so we're going to look at a few more years to add on to that. Continuing with the numbers, Austin Matthews, 41 goals in the regular season in 52 games. Amazing pace. Rocket Richard Trophy winner. The Habs held him to 1 goal in 7 games. I believe his shooting percentage was about 3.5%, and on the season it was about 16%. So the Habs did a fantastic job shutting down Matthews to 1 goal. And Mitch Marner 0 goals. Marner's gone 18 playoff games without recording a goal. His last playoff goal came in Game 1 of the 2019 first-round series against the Boston Bruins. So the Habs shutting these 2 superstars down. You know, the NHL is not so happy, I guess, with their superstars. You're looking at Alex Ovechkin knocked out first round, Sidney Crosby knocked out first round, Connor McDavid first round, Matthews, Marner. All these stars are out of the first round. So... Anyway, moving on. We're going to go on to our McDavid Minute. I started this segment a couple of weeks back. I know the Oilers have been knocked out of the playoffs, so we don't have as much to talk about with McDavid, but I'm going to try to get a little bit in here when I can. Previously mentioned, McDavid scoring was 1.87 points per game in this regular season. Only one player in the last 30 years has gotten a higher points per game percentage, and that would be Mario Lemieux. So this is not the only parallel these 2 players have in common. Mario, in his first 6 seasons, he won 1 playoff series. McDavid just finished his 6th season in NHL, and guess what? McDavid's got 1 playoff series victory as well. The thing about Mario in season 7 and season 8, Mario and the Penguins, they won the Stanley Cup. So do we think the Oilers and McDavid will be winning the Stanley Cup next year to keep pace with Mario Lemieux on his 7th season? I highly doubt it. I think for this to happen, Ken Holland's got to do a little bit more work. He's got to get some supporting cast, some more weapons for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. If you look back at the Penguins in the early 90s, They had Mario, but they didn't have much else. So they went out and they drafted. They had Jaromir Jagr, and they picked up Ron Francis. So that was quite the pickup for the Penguins to get moving on that back-to-back consecutive Stanley Cup championships. Okay, let's go on to our other NHL series here, the second round matchups. So in the West, you've got the two favorites who came through in the first round, Colorado sweeping the St. Louis Blues, and the Vegas Golden Knights took down the Minnesota Wild in 7. That was a great series. Game 7, not so much. 6-2 victory for the Vegas Golden Knights. So going into the second round, you've got the 1 seed against the 2 seed. So you've got the rested Colorado Avalanche, or are the Avalanche going to show some rust? Well, Game 1 proved that I think rest won out on this one. The Avalanche took the Game 1 7-1 over the Vegas Golden Knights. Next game is tomorrow, Wednesday, in Denver at 10 p.m. Eastern. Moving to the Central Division, where, again, I believe the two favorites won. It's not the number 1 and 2 seeds, but it's the 1 and 3. But Carolina at number 1 took out Nashville in 6 games, and Tampa Bay, defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning at number 3, took out the Florida Panthers also in 6 games. Not a big surprise there. Tampa Bay and Colorado, my two picks to go to the finals. And in this series, it's 1-0 Tampa. Tampa took the first game 1-0, and Game 2 is tonight at 7:30 in Raleigh, North Carolina. Going on to the East Division, which I called formerly the Patrick Division, but can't really call it that anymore because Boston's in the division final. So you've got the two upsets in this one. Boston, not a big upset, but the number 3 is hosting the number 4. Number 3 Bruins and the number 4 Islanders, New York Islanders. Boston winning the first game, and the Islanders last night blowing a 2-goal lead late in the third period, but they ended up winning the game in overtime, so this series is tied 1-1, with Game 3 going Thursday at 7:30 on Long Island as the series flips over to New York. And then you've got the North Division, the Habs Division. Number 3, 2 upsets there, though. Number 3, Winnipeg, is hosting number 4, Montreal. Starts, like I said earlier, starts in Winnipeg tomorrow night, June 2nd at 7:30 Eastern Time. The schedule for the remaining games of that series, so Game 2 is Friday, June 4th in Winnipeg. Game 3 will be Sunday, June 6th in Montreal. And Game 4, a back-to-back, Monday, June 7th in Montreal. And Game 5, if necessary, would be Wednesday, June 9th. Game 6, if necessary, Friday, June 11th. And Game 7, if necessary, would be Sunday, June 13th. So what we're going to do now is we're going to throw on a little bit of a journey. One thought we'd take the Habs out and, take the Leafs out, and they did. So let's go. Let's keep it going with the Jets. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and go Habs, go!